Okay, so this is something a little bit different in the fact that there's going to be some resin, but only in some of the defects and to stabilize some of the corners. It's not actually like a river or a mold. And the other thing that's quite different is this thing is just over 2 meters square, so really big to handle. And quite a lot of this video you're going to see it was logistics, moving it and turning it and the glue up. That was kind of the challenge on this project. So just got to take some of the top and tail of these middle ones quickly, and then we've got about 2.3 on the width, which is good because we will be taking a few more mil off. Once they've been plain flat, we can then cut them square on the panel saw to make sure we've got a good edge there. And yeah, looks good. So because we've now got the planing sander, sometimes this is a quicker option than engaging the router sled. Just getting it, taking the big lifts off it, getting it with the hand plane, and then you can reference that side for the top. So this client didn't order a resin table, but as we know with this lovely English, this is actually brown English oak. There's cracks and defects and they really like that. They also want all sides to have a natural or natural-like edge. So obviously I'm going to cut the ends, you'll see later, and I'm going to be using my angle grinder with various attachments which I'll take you through to shape the ends and give them a more natural edge. So I have done videos on this before. I'm actually using Glass Cast 3. It's really good for the non-deep pores and the cracks and the defects. I'm using warm air here just to help it cure quicker so that the next day I can start working on it rather than waiting 2 days. So this is the Starbond CA glue. I'm using the black. Really good for the kind of small cracks and pinholes just before we start to do the sanding and polishing. So we needed to get it dead flat and planed before we can cut a proper 90-degree edge for the glue up. So now we've got it in that position, I can now clamp it on my saw and cut the final edge ready for the glue up. Now, it was an absolute massive amount of work just to get it to this point, preparing these slabs. They are really big and heavy, and you need to get 4 of them. The grain looking nice. It's from one tree, so I picked the right slabs that I thought would look best together. Did a little test, and then it was time for the dominoes and the glue up. No matter how big a machine you've got, the next project always seems to be something that won't fit. We've just bought the biggest planing sander, which is 1.3 meters. This thing's over 2 meters square. So back to wide belt sanding and then your random orbit finishing. So the winch was out of action from the fire at this point. We do repair the winch after this, but we got Ryan and Robbie and they come to help flip it. Some of the builders that were here rebuilding the workshop. So thanks to them. Unfortunately, there is no footage of this base being made by Will. My son who's helping here, he's the fabricator. We had to come up with a different fixing system. This thing is so wide. I needed to get some good fixings and good support. You'll see me sinking this in later. We've also sealed the underside of the legs, which we'll fill with sand. But you'll see us doing a seat test and it's rock solid. Now we just went through a couple of days, I would say, of sanding and finishing. Then you'll see me work on the ends when I cut them to try and naturalise them using various discs. So most of these cutters for the angle grinder will be in my Amazon shop. So if you take a look in there, you might be able to find what you're looking for. So to give me a nice constant chamfer for a start, I use a really lovely Tipman bit. I'll put a link in the description. You can use it for cutting counter edges. I'm then hitting it with one of these wheels, which has chainsaw blades on it. I'm not sure where I got that. I'll try and put a link in the description. But I picked it up on one of the Chinese websites, and then I go to a cut-saw disc, coarse, then fine, and finally to kind of lift the edges I use silver wire brush disc, and that really does kind of cut into the softwood and raise the hardwood grain and give it that more natural finish. I'll put a link in the description with a discount code. We're using Heidelberg hard wax oil, which I do mostly use, especially on this project, and then something very special at the end, a new product I'm trialing, which is a ceramic coating. I'm going to be selling that via the Manor Wood website very soon. You'll see all that work with the wire wheel really removes that kind of soft wood, and if you stay in some places long enough you get a kind of burning effect which looks really natural, and it really comes to life when you oil it. Again, this is now the top side. We're starting the hard wax oil. We'll probably do it 3 or 4 coats, leave it about a week, and then we'll come hit it with the new ceramic coating we're using.
I think we're going to have to drop it. These down a bit there. Take that in. That table's gone under. You're going to hit. Hang on.
So we've now got it bolted onto the stand. We haven't put the sand in it yet. We do that at the client's house because it just gets too heavy. Always good to test one of the furthest corners from the legs, but most of the time with this 90 box is pretty solid, and we wasn't disappointed this time either.
Mate, I need to go and get a coffee or something. That is insane.
So this is the ceramic coating we've been using. I've been testing it on lots of stuff around my home and some products we've been using in the garden and in the kitchen areas for the wear and tear. And we just find it gives that little bit of extra protection and even a bit more sheen. As long as what you're putting it on is cured, there's no problem at all. There'll be more coming on this in the next couple of weeks when I start to take orders for the ceramic coating. It isn't cheap, but it lasts for a long time and goes a long way. So the final finish on the legs was a gold powder coating that the client selected. Again, sorry, no footage of the powder coating process, but we then put the sand in just to give it that extra balance on the bottom because this table is just so wide. But as you saw, you can sit on the corner quite comfortably. It's really heavy and really awkward to lift. If you like this video, please subscribe. Click the bell button and like the video. It really, really helps with the channel. Thanks very much. I'll see you all on the next one.